What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Staffy TV. We have, just a little bit of transfer news to talk about this week. Some news coming out yesterday, some news coming out today, a few outs, a few ins. So I decided why not have just a quick stream, just talk for a quick hour with some of my friends, some of the experts here, the best Man United fans that I know personally, just get their perspectives on what do they see, what do they think about these links. Some news about Varane going out of the club that just got debunked about 30 minutes ago by Fabrizio. Links to Toney. Ten Hag maybe wants him in January. He's seeing the deficit that we have in the front line, so maybe he's trying to go for him early and just use him in January. Gravenberch on loan. How do we feel about that? Amrabat. Why is it taking this long to sign another midfielder? So there's a lot to talk about, and I have a couple people making their debut on the channel today. And it's not because they weren't any good to be debuting early, just they were too busy for me. So another fellow American, this time we're going to, I believe, Maryland, if I'm not wrong. But this guy was partying his ass off in Canada all week. That's why he didn't want to come on the channel last week. Too much dancing, too much drinking, whatever's going on. But he had a lit week, and now he's making his debut on the channel. Man, like Wavy Temi. Listen, one of my favorite names on YouTube, on Twitter. Wavy Temi. What's good, bro?
Hey, what's good, Brody? Good to see you. Happy to be on the channel, man.
Happy to have you, bro. Happy to have you.
Yes, sir.
We have someone else coming, but I think he's having a little bit of difficulties right now, and he just dropped off. So we'll wait for him to join back. I'll take a little bit of the comments until maybe he joins back, and if he takes a bit longer, we'll just start without him until he jumps back in. So big up to everyone in the comments, first of all. Make sure if you just tuned in, like the video, subscribe. Also, Temi's channel is in the comments. It's in the description. So make sure to go follow him, sub to him. He has a lot going on. He also has a page on Twitter that maybe I'll have him mention to you guys later as United fans, that you can go and just send 1-minute videos and send any take that you want on Man United, and they will post it. So we'll get to that later, but make sure you check the description, sub to everyone. And big up here, we have R9 in the comments saying, bro, if Toney's going to join United in January, that's even worse look on Liverpool, after they said he's a Liverpool fan. I think he also, didn't he say he was an Arsenal fan? Listen, bro, it's not really about what kind of club you supported growing up. We've seen Sterling play for City, even though he was always a Man United fan. Kevin De Bruyne was a Liverpool fan, so don't take too much into it. It's only for banter. Big up Asphalt saying big up Staffy. Listen, big up the whole panel, just not just me, bro. So big up them as well. Josh is back in the building. Adele, Rina, and Arish. Big up everyone. Big up everyone. I see a lot of familiar faces are back here. So until Usman joins us, I guess, Temi, let's just start me and you.
Yeah.
I wanted to open up with Varane because, as Arish says here, thank God he's not going. You tweeted yesterday, and I answered your tweet saying that you don't want him to go to Saudi. I was kind of tempted by the money. But at the end of the day, he's not going anywhere. And actually, let me share the screenshot. Sorry, the post by Fabrizio while we're at it. Let me see if you see my screen. I think you do.
Yep, you're good.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to see here because I know Instagram just works different on computer. But it's basically Fabrizio saying, breaking, Rafael Varane did not start any contact with Saudi Arabia. He's saying no intention to negotiate despite the links. Rafa's happy at United. Nothing will happen with Saudi sides. I know that makes you happy, for sure, Temi. So tell us, why were you against Varane leaving? Is it more because of the it's late in the summer and we probably won't get coverage, or do you think he's still more than good enough to play for this United side?
Yeah, I think it's both. I think he's definitely more than good enough to play for this United side. And I think that 60 million, yes, that's good money. But again, I think we have in my opinion, I think we have a very strong center back, depth. You can go Varane, Martinez, Lindelof, Shaw. I think those are four. Obviously, you don't want Luke Shaw playing center back. You want him playing left back. I think we have four solid center backs, and Johnny Evans, if he comes in, that makes five. If you let go of Varane, in my opinion, he's our best center back. It immediately ruffles the apple cart up. You feel me? So it's not something that I would do. I think I would. There's other players I'd sell before I'd sell Varane. That's how I put it. And I think he's had a solid start to the season, despite us being really poor to start the season. He's been probably our best player, if we're being real about it. So that's just not something that I would do right now. He's still a top quality player. I think he's a top quality center back. And when you have top quality players, you really shouldn't be letting them go unless I mean, if they offer us 80 million or something like that, okay, then you can have a conversation. But as it currently stands, he's our best center back. He should not be leaving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me introduce real quick the guy whose internet is a little bit more unbalanced than our current midfield, and he's moving mad right now. But making his debut on the channel is man like Usman. Booga, bro. How you doing?
Yes, yes. Thank you for having me. I do apologize, man. That basically I'm not sat where I normally am, so God knows what's happened here. But listen, to everyone that's tuning in, make sure you slap a like and subscribe to the homies channel, man. Let's get up to that 500 mark. Yeah, but listen.
Thank you, thank you.
Rafael Varane.
You heard us, yes.
Unless it's like stupid money, as Temi just said, obviously people in the chat are saying it as well. There's no way on God's given. I know I'm actually gonna be livid if he leaves the club before Maguire. Like I'm gonna start throwing hands at this trade.
Exactly.
I swear to God, if you're in a situation where Varane's leaving before Maguire, honest to God, I actually officially give up with this football club. I swear to God, that's just like, I mean, it was already bad enough for me that we signed Johnny Evans. Why are we signing Johnny Evans and keeping Maguire? What the hell is going on with this club? I think it's an absolute disgrace from, top to bottom. We know that. But the whole situation with Varane, for me, as Temi's rightly said, he's been one of our best players, arguably the best player so far this season, which doesn't really say a lot because everybody else has been pathetic. So, look, fair play. I mean, he's our only goal scorer as well. We've got to be setting our top goal scorer. We're already struggling for goals.
That's one way to convince.
I didn't even think about it like that. That's a great point. He's the only person that scored a goal this season.
And not only is our top goal scorer, he's our biggest threat so far. Like if you actually look at both games, from any set pieces, Varane, to be fair to him, it looks like he actually wants to score. So, yeah, I mean, it would be an absolute indictment of everything wrong with Manchester United Football Club if we let this man go. I mean, yes, he is on the wrong side of 30. Some would say, yes, he probably in a year's time, people might clip this and say, oh, you were wrong, blah, blah, blah. We should have cashed him. But this moment in time, we can't sell one of our best players because we are not in a position to be replacing him with anyone near the quality that Varane possesses. So, yeah, I think it'd be a massive mistake.
Facts.
No, I hear that. And that was my main thing. Listen, if we were getting stupid money for him, like you said, because we've seen Fabinho drop off massively and get sold for 40 million. That's why Liverpool didn't even think about it twice, because they know if they wait one more year, they'll never sell him for 40 million. So I understood that. But however, I don't think Varane has reached that level of drop off that Fabinho reached. Plus, it's very late in the summer. I know I was just messing with Temi yesterday saying, listen, I'll take 50 million for him. I really wouldn't, just because I know we wouldn't get anyone. If we would have signed Kim Min-jae maybe in the beginning of the summer, I would have this conversation. But knowing we don't have proper backup and Maguire still hasn't been sold, I get where we're coming from.
I mean, Maguire is the backup. You know how Manchester United, so
he's not. We're not seeing Maguire any. Like, I promise you, we are not seeing Maguire for the rest of this season. He is not coming back. He will play Johnny Evans before he plays Harry Maguire to make a point.
I hope so.
Yeah, it's not happening. Don't worry. Maguire, I don't even think about Maguire anymore. He's not a part of this squad, in my opinion. No jokes.
I don't think of him too, to be honest. When people said he was out of the squad last game, I'm like, what difference does it make? Yeah, he shouldn't even be on the bench.
He's gonna play Johnny Evans way before. He'll play Luke Shaw. He'll play Johnny Evans. He'll play Lindelof. He might play Casemiro at center back before he plays Maguire. No joke. So we've seen it. He did it last season. He played Casemiro at center back before he played Maguire.
And he played Luke Shaw. Yeah.
Maguire's done for. He's 100%. Done for.
Josh here is saying if Varane demands to go to Saudi Arabia, wages, Man United would have to sell him because he ain't one to perform if he don't want to be somewhere, I reckon. Well, I don't know how true that statement is because we've never seen him in his career force a move out of anywhere. Even when he left Madrid, it was because they were getting rid of basically their backline and they wanted to sign Militao. And I mean, they had Militao, but they were giving him minutes. They were signing Alaba. So it's safe to say that he doesn't even want to go because, as I just read the tweet from Fabrizio Romano or the post on Instagram, he wants to stay at United. So I think everyone can breathe. Everyone can feel relaxed about it. So Temi doesn't have to lose any sleep now about losing his center back. But with that, speaking of losing sleep, I mean, this guy's losing sleep because he can't play any football in the next few months. But he is getting a lot of attraction from Arsenal, Liverpool, United. So there's reports coming out today that we want to sign Ivan Toney to play in January. Now, how do you guys feel about that? We know we have a striking issue. That's 100%. That I don't think anyone can deny that. but can we wait until January for that? Whoever wants to start could start. How do you feel about Toney, first of all? And do you think we should sign him now, even though he won't play until January?
Yeah,
I guess.
I think
Yeah,
Ivan Toney is a top player. If we could guarantee that we get Ivan Toney in January, I would be willing to wait for it. That's how good of a player I think he is. Yes, we have Rasmus Højlund for the meantime. Anthony Martial is still in the squad. Let's not forget that. Yes, he probably will get injured, but can we survive with Martial and Højlund for 5-6 months or 4 or 5 months? Yeah, absolutely. For Ivan Toney, I would do that. I always said that I wanted Harry Kane as our number one transfer target, but if we couldn't get Harry Kane, Ivan Toney would be the one for me. He is a top quality striker. He makes the the wide players around him better. He can drop deep. He can drop deep the same way Harry Kane can. He can pick a pass out. He's a great free kick taker. He's a great penalty score. He's a great penalty taker. He's a cool finisher. He's a confident player. He is the type of player we need right now. I don't know how. For me personally, I don't understand how people do not see that our front line is the biggest problem we've had in this squad for the past season and going into this season. We don't score goals. We do make chances, but we don't finish our dinner. You know what I'm saying? And even the chances we create, from the eye test perspective, I think they're fugazi. I'm gonna be real with you. So yeah, I just think a player like Ivan Toney is exactly the profile of striker that we need, considering we have a Marcus Rashford, who in my opinion is not really a creative wide player. We play Anthony right now, who's shit. Let me just be 100 with you. He's terrible. He's absolutely terrible. So yeah, no, I think that Ivan Toney would make all of our wide players better. I think, in my opinion, if we had a Rashford, Ivan Toney, Jadon Sancho front line, we immediately become a much better team. A much better team.
He's one of only 3 players last season to score over 20 goals, if you remember. And the other
Yeah.
2 players we all consider world class with no
Yeah.
debate at all, Harry Kane and Haaland. So to score 20 goals in a Brentford team, to me, that's a sentiment. No disrespect to Brentford, obviously, but you're comparing that striker to top 6 strikers like Harry Kane, who is now in Bayern, a world class club as well. And obviously, I don't need to speak about Haaland and Man City. So I think that's a very prestigious company to be in. Usman, knowing you, I don't think there's going to be any disagreement when it comes to Toney,
Yeah.
unless you really want to shock me. But what do you think about that?
I think Toney to Arsenal, here we go. I think it makes absolute perfect sense for him to be an Arsenal player. I mean, I can't see him in a Man United shirt. I mean, he said he's a Liverpool fan, firstly. Secondly, I mean, not that means anything in this day and age, obviously, but he said he's a Liverpool fan. And he also stated that he's a big fan of Arsenal. For me personally, I don't think Gabriel Jesus is that guy. I think he has a lot of qualities. Obviously, I know this is a Man United channel, of course, but I know Gabriel Jesus has, he has somewhat qualities. And Kate isn't that guy. Balogun looks like he's going. I just see Arsenal signing him personally. Regarding Manchester United, it would be an absolute no-brainer for the reasons that Temi's already stated. For me personally, Toney was probably my second choice as well, behind Harry Kane. Obviously, I know a lot of people want Usman, but I actually didn't. I actually went to Toney. I just think the Premier League proven. I do think it's quite important. I think the most important thing about Toney is just he has that bit of arrogance about him as well, which I quite like. I know a lot of people potentially don't like that, especially top brands. They definitely aren't fans of people with arrogance. But for me personally, I think as a striker, you need to have that. You need to have that ability to back yourself. Psychology is such a big part of the game, in particular in front of a goal. When you have those sort of blips, when you're like a couple of games, or you have that drought. How are you going to deal with that drought? And that's one of the question marks I got over Højlund at the moment. Obviously, he's not even touched the pitch yet, but for me, Toney comes across like a guy that you'll have that mentality to get through those periods, and I think that's extremely important, especially for a striker. I mean, in many positions, confidence is everything, but more so when you're in front of goal, you see it from time and time again. Players get in front of a position to score, they don't pull the trigger because they don't have that confidence. And Toney doesn't come across someone that would be as mentally affected. I might be completely wrong with this, obviously. The pressure top team obviously will pay dividends to any player, but yeah, for me personally, he has that. He has that confidence. I think that's really important as well. But yeah, his overall game is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, he's a proper number 9. I mean, he can do it all essentially. He's extremely athletic. He's not as tall as I actually thought he was, because he's actually fantastic in the air. But I think he's at 5'10", if I'm not wrong. But he's just got a good
We can
vertical
check.
on him. Which obviously I think he's 5. I might be wrong completely. It might be 6 foot, but I think he's 5'10" if I'm not mistaken, or something on those lines. But in general, he's got the whole package. I mean, for me personally, he could run the channels, he could hold off play, bring players into the game. He's a perfect Premier League number 9. I mean, any team's gonna be looking to have him, but I just would be surprised to see him in United. I genuinely think he's gonna go Arsenal because they need a striker, as do we. But I agree with Temi. If he's available, we should be all over it. But I just see him at Arsenal. That's just me. Hopefully I'm wrong, but we'll have to wait and
I mean,
see.
he would fit Arsenal perfectly, but he would fit a lot of teams if I'm being honest.
He fit any school. He's one of those players that any club he goes to, he would be a great fit.
I think he can adjust to so many teams.
That's the type of if he played at Man City, he would look good. If he played at Arsenal, Man United, Spurs, he's just that type of there's certain strikers that they're just so well rounded.
To be fair, Tottenham. I forgot about Tottenham. They need a striker badly as well, actually.
Yeah. He's just so well rounded. There's different types of profiles of strikers. I think the best strikers in the world, and I'm not saying Toney's there yet because he hasn't been able to prove it at a top club, but the best strikers, if we look at Kane, Lewandowski, Benzema, these guys are all-round strikers. They make the players around them better. Specifically Benzema, I know he's in Saudi Arabia now, but that profile of player, you know what I'm saying? Those are the type of players that we need, especially with the wide players that we have right now that are very, what's the word I'm looking for? Singular-minded. Rashford's a singular-minded, left winger. He's not trying to make assists. They're not creative. Yeah. Exactly. So we need Ivan Toney would make Marcus Rashford better. He would make, Garnacho better. He'd make Pellistri better. Anthony's a lost cause. But anyway, other than that, he makes our players better. So will he get that? I agree with Usman. I don't think he'll be a Manchester United player. I doubt that happens. But would I take him? He would make our squad exponentially better immediately.
I agree. I want to just couple the comments just because there's familiar faces here, and I want to respect the people that always come back. Josh, I've seen 3 of your comments, and I'm not going to touch too much on this. Basically, Josh is trying to compare his off-field problems with a certain number 11 that is no longer going to be the club. Listen, I get what you're trying to say, but comparing they're both off-field problems, but comparing what number 11 had going on and a gambling problem is absolutely different, because Toney got a slap on the wrist, and that's pretty much what he deserves. But the certain someone that you're trying to refer to, it's basically being avoided by football clubs around the world just because of how big his issue was. So to say, can Toney be trusted after that? I mean,
what?
I don't know.
After what?
I've seen people trying.
He put a tenner on a game. Like, what are we talking about here? Like,
and then here saying, "Listen, Josh, you're gonna look funny if he joins Arsenal because now you're saying
he's gonna join Arsenal, Josh. So make sure you're back. I want to hear those comments.
Man.
Yeah, so I'm gonna keep these receipts, Josh. You're saying first of all, he lacks space, and that's absolutely
Harry.
insane.
I'm gonna say Harry. First of all, even I think he doesn't. I wouldn't say lack pace. Harry Kane lacks pace.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Harry Kane lacks pace, and he's still, right now, in my opinion, he's the best striker in the world. So I don't care. Like, you don't have to have pace to be a great player. I feel like people are too. I'm not blaming Josh here, but like the FIFA mentality of if you have pace, you're a good player. There is tons of. Dimitar Berbatov had 0 pace. He was a top striker. So it doesn't matter if you have the technical ability like Ivan Toney or a Harry Kane or a Benzema.
Some of the best players in history, Temi, did not have pace, but their mind, with their brain, they were quicker with everyone else. The way they reacted, the way they knew what they were going to do with the ball before they even received it, that was the pace that they had. So as you said, it's more of the FIFA generation. A lot of these kids nowadays, teenagers or early 20s that grew up just playing Ultimate Team or whatever, they think if you don't have pace, you're not good enough. That's only true in FIFA Ultimate Team, but when you come to the real world, you don't really need to just have pace to be a good player. And Jack here is raising a very good point. Jack, by the way, always raises a lot of good points, so big up yourself, Jack. He's always in the comments. I appreciate the support as always.
Is it not Jay? Sorry.
Sorry, Jay. I said Jack.
Yeah,
my bad. Jay, sorry. See, this is why I always need to be corrected sometimes. But Jake here saying, I think we need to raise our technical floor of the team. Only Shaw, Martinez, Onana are very calm and composed on the ball. Everyone else isn't. That's a very good point. I think most of us here would agree. You could probably think of one more, two players. You would add Martial there, but he's always injured. You can think of Sancho, but his
Ericsson,
performances haven't been the best.
Sancho.
Ericsson, he's a bit aging, you know. So I do get your point, though. Your overall point, Jake, is that we need more technical players than just looking for that P and pace and all that stuff. 100% agree with it. I don't think anyone here would disagree with it from the panel, unless you guys do, you know.
Definitely not. That's our biggest issue at the moment, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah,
I think we have a lot of, even though the Spurs game showed that we lacked a lot of, by the way, we lacked a lot of pace against Spurs. The stats that we've seen, that we got outran by about 5 kilometers. They had more sprints per game than us. They had more jogs in game per us. I was looking at the stats. Big up CK. CK, if you're watching this, he's always sending us that in the chat. Temi would tell you. And he's our stat man technically in the chat.
Yeah,
he just showed,
CK. He needs to change his name to Statman CK.
He needs another gimmick, bro. He could be Statman CK,
man.
just one day a week, talk about stats. But he did show us the physical attributes of the game and the physical stats of the game, and we lacked all of it. So it's actually funny that we're saying we need more technical players when we were actually lacking that physical side against Spurs. But I think, as we said here, we all agree that we need more technical players in the team, because we've seen instances where we're running with the ball, we're coming at a team, you know, hitting them on the counter and all that. But we reached the final third, and the decision making is just horrific. Between Rashford not being able to play the 9, Garnacho outside of running at defenders and trying to take them on, not really making the best decisions. Anthony's Anthony, you know, Bruno just hoofing the ball a lot. You know, Mount just being non-existent. So yeah, I just named about 5 players on our final third that are not really doing it. So it definitely would help to have a striker like Ivan Toney, who knows how to play on and off the ball, you know. But I mean, anything else you guys want to add to this?
Just on obviously the technical front, I think for me personally, we need to somehow keep Martial fit. I mean, I don't know when Højlund's available, but I swear to God, like, I know it's such a small body of work. I'm sure people were going to say he's only played like 10 minutes, but the difference is like, it's just ridiculous. Like, he's dropping deep. You know, he's doing the basics, the fundamentals, whatever you want to call it. And people are going to say, oh, why are you loading him and stuff like that? Because we don't see it from Rashford, because it's not normal nature for him. I don't know what the correct terminology is, but it's second nature to Martial to be doing them things. But for Rashford, it's just not the case. And I think for me, obviously Martial's not fit, we know that, but technically wise, he brings so much quality to that team. And Ten Hag said it on numerous occasions as well last season, we need to keep this guy fit, you know. And to be honest, it's, again, I know people love GA. I'm not really a GA person, but if you actually look at his GA per minute last season, it speaks for itself. I mean, every time he was in the game, he was involved in something. I mean, even in big games against Liverpool, he puts Rashford in, goes off injured. Against Everton, he puts in Anthony, goes off injured, you know, as in gets assists for both of their moments. And then he obviously dominates flipping Man City every single time he plays against them. But for me personally, we're missing technicians throughout the entire team. Obviously, I'm sure we're going to touch on the midfield shortly, but yeah, it's just screaming out for someone up there to actually hold the ball and bring players in, because at the moment that's something we're massively lacking.
Absolutely. When Martial is fit, he is, in my opinion, unquestionably our best forward player. I will die on this hill for the rest of my life. I even think he's lost a step because of injuries. I don't think he has that explosiveness he had when he's lost. He doesn't have that explosiveness he had when he was 20, 21 years old.
And he looks a little bit bigger than he used to be.
Yeah, I'm not even worried, but everything else, the technical ability is just, it's not, no one else in the squad has that. I mean, no one else, especially in the front line, no one has that level of technical ability, you know. And I think people want to see individual brilliance time and time again. I like to see players who make the team better. That's how I view it. You know, yes, can you do a step over, take a shot, you know, and score a goal? That's great. But what Anthony Martial provides for our squad is someone who makes the ball stick immediately, just from the get-go, dropping into midfield, doing those things. It's not sexy. It's not exciting. For me, it's exciting. You know, for me personally, it's very exciting. But I think for the casual fan, the general fan, they just think that they don't view how important that is. You know, I see my guy Usman, you know, in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Roberto Firmino didn't score a lot of goals, didn't create a lot of chances, but what he did in terms of holding the ball up, in terms of linking play, that is what allowed
He was the glue.
Yeah, that's what allowed
100%.
Salah and Mane to be as great as they were for that long. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, no, those type of players, I love those type of players. I think Ivan Toney is that type of player. We need more of those in our squad all across the pitch, not just up top. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree. I want to go to some of the comments because, as you said, big up to Sam. He's in the chat, is in the comments saying 20 likes. Yalla, we already hit 20 likes since he said that. Just want to give a reminder to everyone who's liking the show, who's watching the show right now. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. That's the only way for our channels to grow. So whenever you're on my channel, you're on Usman's channel, you're on Temi's channel. You know, if you guys like what we bring to you guys, you appreciate the content. All you got to do is just pay your rent. Your rent is just a like button. It doesn't cost a penny to do that. So also a reminder that these wonderful guys, they're in the description. Their links are there. Make sure you subscribe to their channels, you know, and show them love as well. Jake is back here with another comment saying, I think we actually have the solutions to our problems in our academy. Isaac Hansen, Miano Gore. I listen. I don't know everyone in the academy. I mean, Usman, I think he would know more. He's a local
man. I love that guy, man. Listen. I know people get carried away, and I've tweeted a couple of ridiculous statements regarding Isaac Hansen. I can't lie. But if you watch him play, he looks like baby Modric, man. I swear to God. Obviously, I'm not saying he's like Modric or he'll ever be even that 10% of Modric. But just watch the way the guy plays, his ability on the ball, man. It's just his manipulation of the ball. That's the words I'm looking for. Thank you, Hussam. Fucking tell him. I swear to God, I got cooked. But anyways, yeah, Isaac Hansen is manipulation of the ball. That is the best way to describe it. If you watch a midfielder, the manipulation of the ball is absolute everything. And for a player, he's only 19 to be fair. He's quite young still, but his IQ is above his years, man. Similar to Kobe Mino as well. Them two in particular, man, honest to God, they could absolutely ball together. I do think with Isaac Hansen, less so than Kobe, I don't think he's physically ready yet. I think he's quite of a smaller stature. Again, I'm not saying that smaller players can't do it. Obviously, we've seen so many great players, obviously, with a smaller build, but I just think he needs a bit more experience in the men's game. So ideally, I want him to have a proper loan, but bro, technically, man, he's quality. Like, he genuinely looks like a baller. But obviously, you know, Manchester United will probably sell him like we did with somebody else. So yeah, I won't get. Goal looks good as well, to be fair. But obviously, I've seen the comment there as well. But yeah, Isaac Hansen, I'm telling you, man, he's one to watch out, man. He genuinely looks like he could be something special.
I agree. I think, listen, because I've watched Kobe Mano more than anyone else that he mentioned in that comment. I do know if he comes in. I mean, Temi will tell you, I'm always in the chat counting the days that he comes back, you know, because I know this kid, inshallah, will be special. He just has it there. I know he's the profile that we need. People would like to always say, like, oh, you're waiting on an 18-year-old to fix your problems. Listen, bro, I always say, if you're good enough, you're old enough. You know, Louis van Gaal used to say, and everyone associates him kind of with like his bad stuff with United. But Louis van Gaal is a legend in the game, and he used to say that the same thing about these kids. He was like, you can never give a kid a true chance unless you start him and actually play him 90 minutes. And that's how it is. You know, this is why Louis van Gaal, throughout his career, he developed a lot of good players. You know, so I'm not saying he's going to be the only solution. We're not going to win the league when he's back, but he's definitely the profile that I'm looking to have in my midfield, especially also if we sign Amrabat, Gravenberch, all that. So it's not just him, but you know what I mean. And I think this is a perfect segue to my next topic. Let's just talk about the midfield in general, because Amrabat and Gravenberch links. I mean, Amrabat, we've had links with him pretty much all summer, to the point that we're just surprised. Like, where is he? Why haven't we signed him yet? News coming out saying basically we have to balance the books first. We have to sell 2 midfielders first. One of them being Fred, who already left. The other one, I guess, would be Donny. But his negotiations with Real Sociedad seems to have fell off. So I don't even know if we're going to sell him anymore. So it's kind of worrying to think, are we going to sign him or are we not? There's loan links to Gravenberch with an obligation to buy. We can start with either one, but actually let's start with Gravenberch, because I feel like he's the new topic right now. We've talked a lot about Amrabat. I think we all here agree that he would be a good addition anyways. But either one of you guys can start. Whoever knows more about Gravenberch's game can speak. Is he the player that we need in that midfield?
I mean, I know a lot, Temi, but I don't know if you want me to go first. I've watched.
No, go ahead, Usman. Go ahead, Usman.
Yeah, so basically, one of my boys is an Ajax fan. So obviously, long story short, when we were linked to Ten Hag and all these Ajax players, I just used to reference him because obviously he's an Ajax fan. He watches them weekly, sort of thing. And obviously last summer when Ten Hag initially came in, obviously it's like when the manager comes in, they always bring their own players, that kind of thing. I genuinely thought it was going to be Gravenberch. I was actually surprised that he didn't. Of course, he ended up going to Bayern Munchen. For me personally, I don't know if I've tweeted or not, but I was disappointed we didn't sign him because he was perfect for what we needed. Essentially, he's an 8. He's not a 6. I mean, Ten Hag said it last year as well. I think it was in April. There's quotes. You can check it on all these media outlets. Ten Hag essentially said he's not a 6. He can't play in a 6. He's an 8. He's a box-to-box 8. He's not a, he's not someone that's going to necessarily dictate the play, but he's exactly what we don't have in the team currently. I don't want to compare him to Pogba because Pogba is just a different animal. But in terms of his ability to carry the ball from A to Z or through the thirds, he's brilliant on the turn. He's very good in terms of press resistance. His passing range is pretty good. I'm not going to say it's world class or anything along those levels, but he's only 21. Obviously, he's got a lot of areas to improve. But honestly, he would definitely come in and have a place. Like I said, we don't have a ball carrying midfielder. He's physical, obviously, given his stature, which would obviously help in that department as well. Obviously, we're quite clearly lacking. We're extremely, what's the word? Feeble, I don't know what the word, in the middle of the park, we're just weak basically, and he would definitely obviously boost that. For me personally, he would be great alongside Casemiro in terms of balance. Obviously, he has the ability to pick the ball from Casemiro as well and run and just carry it forward. I mean, for me personally, he's everything that we don't have basically. Imagine a poor man's Pogba essentially in terms of his ability to carry the ball. Like I said, he's very good under pressure. He's press resistant, and also most importantly, he's worked under Ten Hag as well. Obviously the comments say we're not Ajax FC, whatever. I don't really care about that because Onana is one of our better players already, and he's from Ajax, so that doesn't really mean anything to me. But he knows Ten Hag's system. There's not really going to be a bedding in period. He knows exactly what's expected of him, and he was fantastic under Ten Hag. He improved a lot. A lot of his development happened under Ten Hag as well, which is one of the reasons he got that move to Bayern Munchen, and he was even on their radar was because of Ten Hag. So for me, honestly, it's an absolute no-brainer to bring him on loan. Honestly, it would actually be brilliant business that it won't happen basically. So for me, and he's also got eye for a pass. Obviously, I said it's not world class or nothing along those lines, but he can definitely thread a pass through. He's quite creative. It's just he's everything that we haven't got currently in the team. So yeah, for me, it would be a great signing. I can't lie. I do think he's going to go Liverpool. I probably just
Don't say that.
I think he would have went Liverpool, but I think I forgot. I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's Sabazlai. I don't know. I probably butchered his name.
No, you got it right.
But he was absolutely phenomenal the other day. I don't know if you guys watched the Liverpool game. He was absolutely unreal in the 8. Obviously, he probably plays in a similar position to Gravenberch. So I don't know if Gravenberch will look at that and think.
And they're both lefties, so I don't think they'll need to sign the same.
That's what I'm saying.
Basically the same player,
exactly. He's kind of similar. Obviously, Sabazla's got more technical ability about him. Obviously, he's very good at ball carrying as well. But he's kind of similar mold, so I don't think Liverpool would be after him, and that's really desperate to just get another body in there. So for me, it kind of makes it an open playing field. And like I said, he's worked with Ten Hag already. Quite clearly, they've got a good relation. So yeah, honestly, it would be a great signing. It generally would be a great signing. So hopefully it does happen alongside Amrabat as well.
Yeah,
Tony, what do you know about him?
Yeah, no, I agree with a lot of what Usman said there. For me, like I look at it to a lesser degree. He kind of I'm not saying he's better, but I think like Jude Bellingham at Dortmund type of situation, very similar in that aspect, a number 8 who's box to box is gifted technically, can pick a pass, can score goals too. He can score goals, he can hit those long range shots. Positionally aware, which is something we are desperately struggling with in midfield. I think Casemiro has been very positionally poor, surprisingly, this year. Mason Mount, I think he's a good player. I just think he's playing in the wrong position. Gravenberch is a proper, is the type of player that you would want next to Casemiro, right? That's really how I feel about it. And when I look at transfers, I always ask myself, is this player a value add to the squad? as a whole, as a starter coming off the bench. Ryan Gravenberch as a 21-year-old is an immediate value add to the squad. He can come in right next to Casemiro and make an impact. He would make our team shape better, which is something I've been harping about for weeks and weeks and weeks. To me, team shape is the first thing that should be in a manager's mind, in a team, in a squad's mind. How do you make your team shape look good? You know what I'm saying? And I think Gravenberch does that immediately. I think Amrabat, if that was to happen, he would immediately make our team shape better. So yeah, no, I think it would definitely be a good signing. Have I watched I haven't watched him week in, week out. He hasn't been getting a lot of game time. I watch a lot of Bayern Munich. He hasn't gotten a ton of game time for Bayern Munich so far. I mean, I don't blame him. And that's not a slight on him. He's in, Leon Goretzka and Josh Kimmich are in front of him. So it's not an insult by any stretch of the imagination for him not to be getting a lot of game time. Would he get game time for us? Absolutely. He would be playing. I think he would eventually work his way into the starting lineup pretty quickly, if I'm being real with you. So yes, if we can get this done, I would be over the moon.
Definitely. I agree with you guys. I haven't watched much of him, but from the small sample that I know of Gravenberch, I think Usman said it perfectly. He's not comparing him to Pogba because obviously Pogba at his age you can say he was elite. But he is the same kind of profile, in terms of like the way he progresses the ball. He has a little bit of skill in him, He plays a little bit better, to me, in my opinion at least. He plays a little bit better in the opposition's half than our half, so that's kind of his job. He wants to be there. He passes well in those tight areas. His control on the ball is decent. He was really good for that Ajax team. And, as Temi said it perfectly, unfortunately for him, it's not even an insult that you can't really get ahead of Kimmich and Goretzka, especially that they're both technically they're in their primes. None of them had any signs of declining. And to be honest, Bayern was never that team that signs young players and they develop them into world-class players anyways. They were more of like, maybe with German players, yes, but foreign players never went to Bayern to develop. So maybe it just wasn't the right move for him. We've seen something similar for Joao Felix when he went to Atletico Madrid. Everyone knows he was a world-class talent, and he went there and he kind of halted his own progression, in his career. So to me, I'm looking at him the same way. I think he would be good if he goes to pretty much any Premier League team right now and if he works with most of the managers in the Premier League right now, I'm pretty sure they would get his career back on track, So hopefully I wouldn't be opposed to the sign, especially it's with a loan and an obligation. So I don't know if it's option to buy or
did they want to sell him though? I read something that
they didn't want to sell him. Yeah, they don't want to sell him, but then they kind of changed their opinion. Big up Ozzy, by the way, in the comments. Big up Kendall, showing love to the panel.
That's the homie right there.
Yeah,
they wanted that.
I told her yesterday, I was like, if you don't beat Liverpool, I'm blocking you. And she said, no, you wouldn't. I'm serious about it. Listen, I didn't want to take it. I didn't want to take it as far as saying I'll buy a Sunderland jersey because that would have pissed her off. So I was like, you know what?
I gotta get an Ahmad Sunderland jersey. Honestly, that's what I need. I need to get an Ahmad Sunderland jersey. That would be cold.
We'd lose Kendall the minute we do that. But listen, we all love Kendall here. Big up to everyone in the comments. Jose, I'm not even gonna entertain what you just said. He's off. He's off. I was about to read it, and he's a Chelsea, and I know him personally. So I told him to always show love on YouTube. This is literally the opposite of showing love. So I'm not even gonna adjust what he said.
Can you ask him why £250 million double pivot lost to Temi West Ham when you see him next?
He hasn't spoken. Listen, he tweeted that. He said, I knew
what's that about?
He was like, I knew United would lose to Spurs, LOL. And then the minute they lost, I just tweeted. I was like, I knew you would lose to West Ham, LOL. And he hasn't told me yet why they lost, because he told me basically they spent $1 billion on this team and they're gonna do all this and all that. And apparently now with their injuries, they need to spend a little bit more money. So listen, it's not my fault that you guys spent $1 billion basically, and you have a 20-year-old striker who played for Charlton FC coming off the bench to help you guys. I think it was 2-1 at the time. They have problems too. How do you spend $1 billion and you don't have a backup striker and you don't have a competent goalkeeper? You signed the third goalkeeper basically of Brighton. They
can sign Henderson if they want. He's for sale. So if they want,
I can't believe we haven't sold him yet. And listen,
no, apparently he's going to. Is he? Is it Palace? Why do Palace
Crystal
want
Palace,
Henderson?
yeah, Crystal Palace,
But
yeah.
I'm so confused
Why would
about
he go
that.
there? I know Guy. How do you
They
say his
got
name?
Johnston. He's in my FPL
Guaita.
team, so I'm like, yo, what's going on here? Like, yo, I need to swap
He's
my
definitely not going
keeper.
to sit on the bench to Johnson
Nah,
for
he'll
Johnson.
start.
So I
He'll
don't know.
start.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
he'll
Johnston's
start.
better
Nah,
than
but
him, bro.
Johnson wouldn't get benched. He's too good to be benched as well. He
Johnston's
is really
genuinely better
good.
than him. I'm not even hating on Henderson.
I think they're the
Like,
same level, or you can argue that he's
Yeah, they're
better.
the same. They're the same level, bro. They'll compete for that.
I'm taking Johnston, man. Honestly, Henderson's ego is like his prime performer. He needs to
No,
relax.
I don't have agendas, but I have an agenda against Henderson. I think he's poop. I think he's super mid. But
Nah, his
I mean, what?
attitude, man, I can't stand him, man. Actually,
Yeah, he talks as if he's like Buffon or something. I'm like, bro,
Remember when he said he didn't want
you are
Ten Hag to watch him in
mid.
training because he would keep him
Yo,
if he watched him? I'm
those
like, who do you
comments,
think you
man.
are? I said,
Legit,
who do you
man.
think you are? Bro, he left on loan. It's like, you know how I put it? I was missing, I forgot who I was talking to. It's like, you know, you're going on vacation, okay? You're only away for a week, but on your way out, you spit on your job, you know, but you know you're coming back in a week. So why would you do that? You know what I mean? You don't talk crap about your boss when you're gonna be back next week, you know what I mean? So it's just like to go on loan and to talk shit like that about the club. I'm like, is this guy like mental? Like, what is he doing here? You know, so it's no surprise that no one wants him. Minerals FC is in the comments pick up saying who would suit you more, bro, Sangari or Amrabat? I don't know much about Sangari. I think he had a hype last summer.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I wanted Sangari. I wanted him last summer again.
Yeah, he had a big hype last summer.
I was because again he's a destroyer. He's got that physical presence, but we don't need him because we've got Casemiro. Long story short, so to answer your question, Amrabat definitely. Obviously, Amrabat plays in 6. Sangari plays in 6, but Sangari is more of a Casemiro profile. Obviously, nowhere near to the level of Casemiro, of course, but he's not known for his ability on the ball. Yeah, he's got a good shot on him, that kind of thing. But Amrabat has the technical ability, what we're missing from a 6 potentially, and we do have the option with Amrabat. Obviously, Amrabat can play an 8 as well. So for me, Amrabat every day of the week, man, without a doubt.
I mean, we have to speak about Amrabat anyways because he's a part of the show that I wanted to talk on. I mean, we've been told for how many weeks now that he wants to join the club, that we agreed personal terms with him, and it's taking so long. Are you guys worried if he doesn't join the club? Because I think Ten Hag really wants him. Even when the Liverpool links came out, he said now he's set on going to United. And you know, it's almost September and we haven't signed him yet. And I am worried, I'm not gonna lie, I'm worried that this ownership might, you know, do us over again because of the whole having to sell before buying thing. And it's not like we're talking about a groundbreaking signing. He's not 100 mil. It's just like a 25 mil signing. The fact that we can't sign a 25 mil player kind of worries me. I don't know if there's actual FFP reasons behind it, like some reports said. I don't know how true is that. If that's true, then that explains it. But if we're being so cheap and we're taking this long to sign a 25 million player, who we can all argue here that he comes in and he balances our midfield right away, that is worrying to me. I mean, are you guys worried if we're not signing Temi? If today's September 1st and I'm telling you, you know, you just woke up from a 10-day nap where I'm telling you, listen, we didn't sign Amrabat and today's September 1st. What are you saying on that?
Yeah, as long as we have a midfielder of that profile, I will be okay. But if we don't sign Amrabat or another midfielder of that profile, I will be extremely worried. I personally like Eriksen. I think he's I think he was so.
But he's aging. I like him too.
Yeah.
He's aging.
100%. I think he's somehow become underrated. He was so good for us last season, especially before he got hurt. I think he was. You can make an argument he was one of our 2 or 3 best players before he got hurt last season. But we need someone else like that. I think Eriksen should be competing with an Amrabat, a Mainu. You know what I'm saying? Those should be the players rotating in and around Casemiro. It should not be Mount and Bruno next to Casemiro. I think that is suicidal. I just don't understand why you would do that. But yeah, if we don't get an Amrabat in or a Gravenberch in, you know, I think it's gonna be difficult for us. It's gonna be a long season. I don't want to predict that. Again, I think I'm going to repeat this. We're 2 games into the season. I know it's been a very difficult start, a very, very difficult start, but I do back this manager. I think that he's a top manager. We just need to work out some of these kinks that we're currently going through. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, if I would definitely be worried. I would be lying to you if I said I wasn't worried if we don't get an Amrabat, if we don't get a Gravenberch into this side, because I think that profile of player, Amrabat and Gravenberch are different. But again, for me, they both, despite them being different types of players, they make our team shape better, which will in turn make us better. You feel me? So yeah, no, we need that to happen. Again, from the Glazers' perspective, I don't know what I know what they're doing. They're being stingy as they always are. They haven't invested a penny of their own money into this club. You know what I'm saying? So they're trying to do it. They're trying to do it their way, which has never been the right way. But hopefully we can get some signings, some players out the door and make it happen. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I mean, but I think the importance of Amrabat more so than Gravenberch. Obviously, I've just done a full tirade of why we should sign him, but it's the opportunity to rest Casemiro and potentially replace him. I mean, we saw last season when Casemiro was suspended, for the red card, so to speak, we were basically in the pits of hell. Like, he had absolutely no. If you think our midfield's bad right now, imagine it without Casemiro. I know a lot of people are cooking his ass right now, but I don't think people understand how open that midfield is, and at least he has somewhat of, instincts to sniff out some danger at least. But without Casemiro there, imagine we had McTominay there. Oh Lord have mercy. I mean, for me, Amrabat compares a 6 and an 8. I think that in itself is the main reason we have to sign him, just so we can have an option to rotate Casemiro if he's not even playing well, or he needs a rest or whatever it may be. I mean, we're potentially looking at 55, 60 game season, depending on how we do in the cup competitions. You can't have a 31-year-old Casemiro playing at this level of intensity, playing 3 games a week. He's going to get cooked, whether we want to admit it or not. If it's not fatigue, it's going to be, quite apparent on the pitch that he's going to be out of place. So for me, Amrabat, if we don't get him, I swear to God, I don't think we're getting top 4. I know that sounds extremely reactionary, and I put us 3rd in my prediction.
It's not reactionary at all. It's not. I put
us 3rd in our predictions of the whole. It's assuming we're getting Amrabat, but the further the closer we get to the end of the window, it really stinks of a panic loan. We've got to remember this is the Manchester United that literally bought Sabitzer essentially 3 weeks into January. I mean, you knew from January 1st we needed a midfielder. The wait until we had like 2-3 injuries and then eventually got Sabitzer, who could have been done on the first day of the window, and we could have played him. We went into games without a midfielder because the board didn't want to actually get someone across the line until I think it was Eriksen actually got injured, and then the hand was forced, replaced with Ronaldo Weghorst. I mean, do I need to say anything else? I mean, I generally think Martial got more goals than him. I mean, McTominay got more goals than Weghorst. And he was like...
Martial got more goals than Anthony in the league.
Casemiro got like 7 times more goals than Weghorst. I mean, it's just like the incompetence from this club. It just fills me with absolute no confidence. I've said it time and time again. Amrabat deal was the easiest deal they could have done. They should have done it before Mount. Whether Ten Hag pushed for Mount first is what it is. Obviously, I don't want to get into that. But for me, Amrabat and Onana could have been done on the first day of the window. Like, generally, they were easy deals. Onana was quite clear when to come United. Amrabat, why would he not want to come to United from Fiorentina? He wants to leave them openly. So they've got no excuse. I mean, they can say it's the money situation, blah, blah, blah. I'm not buying it, to be honest. I think it's complete bullshit, if I'm honest. If another Ronaldo situation or marquee signing was available, they would have paid the money by now. And for me, it's not a marquee signing. It's not a flashy signing. They're going to try and get a loanee signing if they can, like they did with Sabitzer. And at the end of the day, Amrabat should have played the first 2 games of the season, at least one of them games minimum. And the fact that we haven't even signed him and we've already played 2 games, and he's not going to come in for the obviously Forest game, and he's not going to be available for the Arsenal game, realistically speaking, because bedding period, whatever BS that they'll try to dress you up as. So yeah, for me, if you don't get Amrabat, I mean, the best we can hope for is the top 4 finish, but with Manchester United, what does top 4 generally mean to us? Let's be real. We're not going to do well in the Champions League. We're not going to do well in the Cups. Wow, we got 4th. Well done. What an achievement. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just boring at this point. So
I disagree with that, Usman. I disagree with that.
Wait, guys, I don't know if you've seen this, but there's news that just broke out about 10 minutes ago. That I don't know if we're believing this or not. Sheikh Jassim is set to complete his full 6 billion takeover over Manchester United mid-October. This news just broke out by Neil Custis from The Sun, I think, and it's all over Twitter right now.
I'm seeing a lot of people like messaging me, obviously from that WhatsApp group. People are saying, "Oh yeah, there's truth to it." Like people that.
Do we believe this? Because how many times have we heard this? I mean, the news just broke out. People were mentioning in the comments. So
we've never seen set to complete. We've never heard those words before. In when it comes to this, we've heard negotiations. We've heard bids being put in.
Yeah, but we've heard like, accepted. They haven't. I don't think they've put a date.
I don't think I've ever heard accepted or set to complete.
Lads, just as the UK resident here, I just want to make this very clear that the Sun is the shittest sauce that you can get.
No, I know that. I know that.
We're aware. Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't this your guys' account on Twitter? Anyways, who's tweeting that while you guys are working here?
The Sun. Oh, we have a guy. The Sun, the Daily Mail. Yeah, we know those are even in the States we know those are shitty. Those are shitty.
I mean, we know those outlets. Neil Custis definitely does get versed. He's probably one of those people that. Yeah, he's definitely connected. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't trust the Sun as far as I can throw him. They love a clickbait. They love, just doing whatever interactions, helps them, so to speak. Yeah. So, look, at the end of the day, as a United fan, I'm just hoping that there's truth to it. But of course, there's another protest. So for me, you got to bear that in mind. I don't know if you've seen. Every time there's a protest, all this speculation always comes out. I just feel like.
I agree, Usman. I was about to ask you that actually, yeah, but go ahead.
The timing for me, because obviously in 1958, of course, they do a lot of the protests outside Old Trafford, etc., and they're obviously a big part of the fan base trying to basically against the Glazers essentially. But it seems like every time they do a protest or they're pitching a protest or whatever it may be, Neil Custis, he loves it. I mean, it's almost like they're feeding him like PR, like, oh no, Custis, get this out, my guy. Just get the PR machine going, get the fans potentially off our back, that kind of thing. So it kind of reeks of that. I would love to be wrong, obviously, but the timing for me just stinks, basically. I mean, the 1958 movement is going viral essentially on Twitter at the moment. A lot of United fans understandably have had enough, me included, of course. And it does seem like that there will be a protest on the Nottingham Forest game, and if you like, I mean, we've not heard anything about the ownership, and now all the protest stuff's coming out literally the last few days, and now the ownership stuff's coming again. I mean, the timing, I'm not sure about it personally, but
the timing is definitely sus because of the as you said, the protests, and I feel like every here and there they just throw in these news to rise the share prices again. So if this is a PR stunt, like you said, I actually wouldn't be surprised. But I also want to say we have over 50 people watching right now. This is the most I've had since I started the channel. So big up everyone who just tuned in right now. I think they just saw the news and they thought we're over here just having
We are. This is the place to be for all the breaking news stuff. You do that properly. Do that
100%. Listen, we got lucky that the news
for all the breaking news on the Glazers. Staffy's the guy. He's got the sources.
Listen, I'm the American here, me and Temi, so we got our sources that are telling us.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, you guys are fully linked up.
Yeah.
So everyone who's watching right now, please smash that like button. If every one of these 50 just hit the like button once, we're already at 50 likes, and that's all I'm asking you guys.
For more information Americans regarding the American owners. I mean,
listen, we don't claim them. Me and Temi 100% don't claim them. So
no, they're terrible. They're terrible, man.
Yeah, so when Yardman got pissed at the owners in Arsenal, he said, those Americans get out of my club. He didn't speak about me and Temi. I tell you that. He was talking about the Cronkies. Yeah. We talk about the Glazers. If Usman says he doesn't like those Americans,
real talk, I would take the Cronkies in a heartbeat to what we've been having.
They've been acting a little bit better than they ever did. Yeah, I think once they invested more money in the club and they owned a bigger share, they started caring more. And I actually see why.
The Cronkies have actually proven that they know how to run sports teams properly.
Because all their franchises is winning. Yeah, except
all of their franchises win except for Arsenal right now, and they're on the come up. Let's be real. I don't like to say it, but they've been on the come up for a while. The Glazers,
I do the back Eddie as well.
Yeah, of course. But the Glazers do not know how to run sports organizations. Their football, their NFL team, the Buccaneers, have been the worst. No, but that's Fugazi. I'm letting you know that they lucked into getting the best quarterback in the world. You know what I'm saying? But before that, they were called the Succaneers. For a 20-year period, they had the worst record on average for 20 years. Let that sink in. So they do not know how to run sporting organizations. All of their sporting organizations, they lucked into Tom Brady. He won a Super Bowl for 1 year, and that was it. That was just luck. You know what I'm saying? You can do that in football. You can luck into something like that, but that can't happen in world football. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, no, the sooner they get out, the better. But I will say to the fan base, like billionaires operate on their own time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like billionaires operate on their own time. If you think that we're like, let me not even say that. We just
I want
gotta be
everyone
patient.
in the
I'll say
comments right
that.
now to spam Qatar in because we're about to wrap up the show. But listen, if these news are anything close to being true,
Inshallah.
then inshallah, Usman, these news are true. I know that Usman climbed all the way up and he put that Qatari flag over there, showing his support to
Now I
the
got
Qatar.
contacts with Al Jazeera, man. Don't worry, man. We're working on that. We're doing,
See,
doing
I had
my
no
best.
doubt. I had no doubt. Listen, this guy has more pull than Liverpool, So
Listen, gotta make it
everyone,
happen, man. Don't worry, man. Don't worry. That's it. Get the Qatar in. And listen, Staffy's not gonna say it, but I'll say it on his behalf. If you want all the updates on the situation, Staffy's the guy. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you subscribe if you better slap a like and subscribe. It's free. Let's get our brother going, man. Come on.
Big facts.
my guy. Listen, and not just me. As I said, all these wonderful people, their links are in the description. Their Twitter account that we actually just showed breaking the news is their Twitter account. Obviously, they have other people working. It's not just them. They're putting the work here, and someone else is still running their account.
The homies.
If you want to go on that account and send your 1 minute take, on any Manchester United topic, it will get posted. These wonderful people are trying to connect the whole. I think the account. What is it again, guys? United World.
At United World Fans. At United World Fans.
Go on Twitter if you have a Twitter. Follow them. Send your video after a game, before a game. Obviously, be respectful. Be very clear. Keep it under 1 minute, and these guys will post you guys. Everyone is heard. They're trying to make United fans heard. So make sure you follow them on Twitter. Sub to their channels. Sub to my channel here. We have about 50 people still watching. Listen, I really appreciate the love, guys. I just started a few weeks ago, and I'm already getting a lot of love. So I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate the panel. I definitely enjoyed this. It was a short yet very insightful show. I mean, listen, you both know how much I respect your takes about almost everything when it comes to United and all that. So to have a transfer show with you guys, I hope everyone enjoyed it as much as I did, because these guys always educate me on a few things that I'm not paying attention to. So make sure you show them love. As I said, on your way out, please like the video, subscribe, and let me unshare the screen so they could see us. Temi, you want to give them a shout out before you go? You know where to find me. I know I said it's in the description, but still give yourself a shout out.
Guys, follow me on Twitter at Wavy Temi. Also my YouTube. I have been on hiatus for months and months and months, but I'm trying to get it back up. You feel me? So
I brought him today so I can encourage him to do more. So maybe this will get him up and running, bro.
Yeah, subscribe to my YouTube. I've been on TikTok a lot recently, so also subscribe to my TikTok. I'm trying to get to 12K followers on that. So it's also at Wavy Temi. So guys, all my apps are the same. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, you feel me? So just spam me on those platforms, and at United World Fans as well. Make sure to follow that. We're trying to build something special there. So be on the lookout.
You definitely are, guys. You definitely are. Usman.
Yes. Obviously, to echo Temi's sentiment, obviously, United World Fans, as obviously Staffy said, essentially a platform for the people that don't really get heard. Obviously, the UK United fan base, so to speak, seem to be the ones that dominate the podcast game. Obviously, that's a bit rich coming from someone from the UK myself, but of course, we're trying to change that. We're trying to give people all over the world a voice. So that's really important to us. Of course, that's essentially the purpose of that channel. So make sure you follow us there. Regarding myself, as you can see on screen, Usman Talk United on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Obviously, the homies will be on my channel as well at some point, probably in a couple of weeks as well. So make sure you keep it locked in here as well. Obviously, subscribe to Staffy. Obviously, slap a like on the video. Completely free, people. Obviously, keep showing him love. Obviously, he's grafting, he's doing his thing, and deservedly getting the credit that he deserves, man. So keep showing the man them love. It's completely free, and hopefully, Man United get some 3 points on the weekend, because we definitely need some positivity.
We definitely
Big facts.
We definitely do. Inshallah. Listen, you guys are gonna see these wonderful people back on my channel sooner or later. If Temi's not going on any more weddings in Canada, and he actually has time for us.
No, man.
But this is their debut, but inshallah they'll be back. As he said, make sure you like the video on the way out. I'm 4 subs away from 350. A lot of people just subbed when I asked them, so big up yourself if you just subbed. 4 more. I'm going to Hassam's channel right now. We're about to talk about the disgraceful result against Spurs. So anyone who's here, unfortunately, I can't redirect because I still don't have 1K followers as subs. So you know where to find Hassan's channel. Everyone switch there. I'm about to be there in a couple minutes. Please support me because I know I'm about to get cooked. But
Thank God.
I'm about to get cooked. But listen, man, thank you for watching the show. I'll see you guys again soon. Take care.